Ah. Being that I now have a day job, so to speak, schedules are getting a little tighter. At this point, I've recorded and edited enough videos to stay at least 2 weeks ahead of their release dates. I'm trying to record at least 3 videos every weekend, so just to maintain a buffer in case of emergencies. So we'll see how it goes. Unfortunately, I don't have any images to show you this time around. Let me know if anybody wants to get involved on that front. I apologize for the noise outside. My roommate's latch on his trunk doesn't work, so he has to slam it repeatedly. When we left off, Teksta had been founded, and we'd introduced the first 3 of our revered ancestors. So here's the next 2. It was only a couple of centuries in Teksta before more new settlers arrived. During that time, the original town took the name Hirkusted, and the Kobolds had dug into the cliff face nearest to the settlement, creating a second town which they called Vilam, which is Draconic for farm. Many of the other egg-laying people among the populace decided to go with the Kobolds, seeing as they discovered they were able to interbreed over the past century or so. Likewise, the goblins, halflings, gnomes, and others who gave live birth noticed that they were able to interbreed in this strangely welcoming place. The world outside, after the time of fast rising and fast falling nations, had remained in chaos. The peoples within view of the Lone Mountain had stopped bothering with the thought of kingdoms, governments, or even gods altogether. They either roved in small bands or settled in tiny villages. Their only hope was that they could either remain hidden or outrun or outfight who or whatever might want to take what little they had. 2 such roving bands had not fared so well of recent. One had reverted to Stone Age technology, relying completely on what the natural world provided for them and foregoing any thought of wanting more or better. After all, if they had nothing of worth, then there was less any attacker would want to take from them, and they might be left alone. Over time, this tribe, for lack of a better word, developed a partnership with a pack of coyotes. They weren't domesticated, per se, but they weren't truly wild anymore either. The 2 groups just seemed to work well together and could peaceably share in the result of each other's efforts and defend one another. The other group had started following in the path of bands of raiders and scavenging whatever was left behind, learning as they did so to repair, rebuild, or refit anything they found. Fate was not kind to any during these times. An illness, a plague, struck the area. Most from all walks of life were brought to a painful end. Strangely, it was only goblin children who seemed immune to the plague. The survivors of our 2 bands met, now less than 100 total between them, and the eldest child of each decided it would benefit them all if they joined forces. Wandering together, they eventually stumbled upon a field of graves at the base of Lone Mountain. Whether it was naive curiosity or some unknown welcoming nature of this place, the 2 young leaders, now just reaching adulthood, bid their charges to follow them up the twisting paths, and they entered Teksta. They thought they had perhaps died and found some forgotten afterlife, but upon exploring, and eventually meeting some locals, they had discovered that this place was real. Stone Age leader, named Sus, meaning piglet, was tall for her age, and strong from a life of doing everything by hand. She and her people, and their following coyotes, decided to settle in the deep forests on the topmost ring terrace of the mountain's interior. They kept to their Stone Age ways, and continued to eschew the use of metal or other advanced technologies. The forest and its new town were eventually called Suswood, meaning Piglet's Forest. The Scavenger leader, short for her age, with striking ginger hair and buck teeth, was named Mregu Skaid, which means little chopper. She decided to settle further down, deeper into the mountain. She founded a settlement on the same terrace as the existing city, though on the opposite side of it. Her people were adept at repairing broken things and making use of what others had left behind. So all the better for them if there was someone nearby whose trash they could pick through. They were fast becoming artificers, and their settlement was eventually called Skychester, Chopper's Town. Now there were 4 towns in Teksta. They were all given the same set of laws to follow. They all traded peaceably and worked together to the betterment of all involved. The whole time, Whale-Guer, the bar guest, stalked among them, making certain everyone had apples to eat, and making certain that the hated old god never found influence here. Okay, before anybody asks in the comments, Barghest are functionally immortal. They're a Yugoloth infernal race. They're not demons, they're not devils. They live on the material plane until either something physically kills them, or until they've collected 17 goblin souls to take away from Obliviate. So this one in particular might be around for a very long time. At this point, we've got 5 of the founding ancestors taken care of. Any of them could serve as a pact patron for a warlock. Maybe some of them could even be seen as a god in some respect and have actual clerics and temples. That's up to you. As far as the undead army buried at the base of the mountain, I was thinking a mummy lord leading them, but with a divine aspect, so there's no evil to be detected there. A good or potentially neutral, intelligent undead could make a very interesting warlock pack patron. I'll continue with this series of videos and this timeline until we get to the point where all the cities are there and everything is well established and you could introduce player characters for a campaign. Let me know what you do and don't like. Give me suggestions, point out any mistakes I've made so I can fix them. What would you do differently? I'm still looking for images. If there's any artists out there who want to contribute, I'm willing to try and find a way to pay you, give full credit for any work that's in the videos. Like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you next time.